What's going on, everyone? It is your boy Thriller here, and we're here with a little bit of an update video for you guys, but also a miniature of a transaction video. We have actually made some transactions for the JJDL, and to kind of talk about some things going further. If you don't have to worry about liking the video if you don't want to. If you do want to, greatly appreciate it. But I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. We are only 8 away from the original goal of the channel at 120, and if we can hit that before the end of the year or even before my birthday on May 15th, I really would appreciate that very much from everyone. So let's quickly talk about the little bit of update. So going further with the summer is officially going to start getting seriously busy for me within literally like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 to 3.5 weeks. So Draft League is definitely going to be taking a big break. I think I only have signed up so far now for 2 leagues, one being for Wi-Fi and one being Showdown. I might sign up for another Showdown league, but I'm not 100% positive yet. It's just going to come down if I think I can manage that and if I can't. But if not, I'm just going to do maybe one Showdown league and one Wi-Fi league. I have really decided to be hard on myself for this summer. As you guys don't know, I actually was in a part the 2 to 3 months of summer. The 3 to 4 months of summer. I was actually a part of probably a grand total of roughly 5 to 6 lead span, possibly. And I really overworked myself, and I really got lazy and slacked on building, prepping, and everything. I was really doing last minute preps, and some of them I won with, some of them I did trash with. And I think definitely doing this, it's going to make me a lot more healthier mindset to, just focus on 2 leagues. One that I can give you guys some content on that I can upload when I can, and then one that I can just go and do the side, do the best that I can. And one league is actually a new league I've never been a part of, so that's interesting. And the Wi-Fi league is I'm coming back to SDA. I actually finished in the finals of SDA, and unfortunately, after one big crucial turn, I unfortunately did lose to the finals of SDA, and unfortunately dropped my 3rd Wi-Fi finals in a row to a misclick, one to possibly an outcome that could have changed, but also maybe like a 50-50 in terms of setup sweeper, and also one that again came down to, again, a 50-50 decision. And 2 out of the 3 of those championships, I'm actually not mad that I lost. The one I did was mad at was the one I literally won. I literally won that one, but I choked. But let's not talk about that. But in terms of leagues, I'm hoping you guys are going to be very understanding that I'm going to be really focusing on myself and my work. Because then when I have my free time, I either want to get my battles done with that, but I'm also going to just be doing anything I can just to relax, chill, and not stress about work. Try to hang out with some of my friends in calls, or try to join them on streams and play some games, or just do some talks and stuff like that. Just to try to unwind and relax the best I can. Because during the summer, I am at my most busiest with work, and I can get stressed out very easily. So I want to have less stress of doing draft and being able to focus more on my personal self and work, and still enjoy using draft, but more so being able to just relax and have more time to just chill. But when the winter comes back, guys, we'll be getting back on that grind. Don't get me wrong on that. Do not get me wrong on that. But let's quickly talk about the JJDL transactions that we made, which is the JJDL, if you don't know, is the John Jr. Draft League that is run by my good friend and brother John Jr. And we are currently 2-2. We have actually not played our week. No, wait. We're 2-3. My bad. We actually have not played our week 6 game yet. And these transactions would not have counted for our week 6, let alone would not have counted in general. But John has been very nice enough to grace us with a 24-hour grace transaction period, to where if we make these transactions, they will be legal for the last 2 to 3 games of the season, or more so 2. I don't know, unless they're going to count for week 6. But even then, I'm going to stick to the original team for week 6. So I'm not making transactions. I'm not going to use a transaction team for my Week 6 game. I've actually already prepped my Week 6 team, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think I have a good chance to win it. So, looking at the transactions we made, let's talk about them here. We're going to talk about what we dropped. 2 of these I'm actually very sad that we did drop, but some of them weren't even coming to the games, and some I just feel like I have not been using very well at all, and I'm just not saying I'm not having fun with them, but I'm just not doing good with them, and I feel like it's not fair to have Pokemon on my team that I feel like I'm not doing good with if I can't really prove their worth. So unfortunately, Venusaur is going to go down there. Venusaur could have really popped off in Week 1, but the turn 1 Wake, that's just how RNG goes to your way. It doesn't go your way. Then there was the matchup with the Polt. If I was Akaberry, which would have been a long shot to go and bring, or if I was at least Assault Vested, even then Assault Vested probably could have not saved me. If I was Choice Banded, then it could have been a different story. But again, it's only one of those things. And Venusaur did not get to pop off. And then Venusaur didn't get to pop off in one game just because it got crippled down and I couldn't really take advantage of anything, and especially with the RNG and hacks that came involved. So I just have not been using Venusaur good, and I just can't do anything with Venusaur. I just really can't do anything with Venusaur. So I think it's just better off to drop him now, which it really hurts. But Venusaur has actually been proven something that can be really taken advantage of, even with some Sun. It's fantastic with Sun, amazing with Sun. But there's still enough speed tiers out there that can actually take advantage of the Sun speed and be able to counter us easily. Be granted, it's good information and I know of it, but at the same time, it's just one of those Pokemon that I think it offers a lot, but I just can't make it work. Second one we did drop is our Terra Rotom Fan, which I'm sorry, Uzi, I really wanted this thing to pop off for us. But I was looking at my team, and I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. I would rather Terra my Cresselia than this thing every single week. And this is definitely something I do want to try in the future with Terra. However, I think in the future for leagues that allow free Terra or just Terra in general, I really think having just one captain is fine, because then that pushes you to want to use that Terra captain. Whereas if you have 2 Terra captains, you're always going to pick. It's like sometimes when people pick children in stories, everyone picks their favorite, then it crashes and burns, which is the same instance we're seeing for this. I would rather have a Terra captain that can take advantage of both, and I know both can do well, but I also know that my one other captain can be more reliable in other things. Like, for example, Cresselia that we used in our Week 5 game, I probably didn't need to be Terra Fairy. I could have just kept it as a Psychic type. I could have. But Terra Fairy was just meant to be used as defensive typing, and plus it was just there, so I might as well have it. And I didn't even use it in the way that I wanted to use it. I used it in a way that I think was more strategic for the team, and I thought it was actually a better set for the team. But it ended up being very much crippled, unfortunately, and just didn't work out. Whereas if I had the other Terra Captain that I have, I actually could have applied so much pressure, so much offense, and really could have put a dent on my opponent's team in Week 5. But it's here nor there. Basically, Rotom, it's great, but I just feel like it's not been in the team in terms of Terra captains. And I'm really sorry to do this to my man Ant. Hashtag it's whatever. Hashtag Mr. Monkey Dory, Carping, Binkster user. I don't know where I'm going with this. But Smeargle, I want you to know, I was trying with Smeargle. I felt like there were some games Smeargle really could have came in terms of either hazard setting and stuff like that, but Smeargle just couldn't fit for what I wanted, and we brought it last week. I really wish there was an opportunity we could have had a moment to get in Smeargle, to set up with Smeargle, and just annihilate with Population Bomb, which if you looked at their team, if they did not make the plays that they did, and we actually got Smeargle in, Smeargle actually could have just destroyed everyone with Shell Smash. It literally could have destroyed everyone. It would have 1v1'd the Raging Bolt every single time. 100%. Always 1v1s it, no matter what. Especially if we keep bluffing that we have to sash, right? It would have demolished that. Unless there was also other players. But you get what I'm saying. It would have gotten a kill or two at least. Or a sweep. You never know. But Smeargle, I might try this in the future. I just think Smeargle's not for me, but I see the potential Smeargle gives. I love the potential that a Pokemon like this, where it's very mediocre, very bad, but has so much that offer for a team that it's ridiculous. And I actually really think this. And I'm sorry to all of my fans out there. This was everyone's favorite pick of the draft. It made the thumbnail for the team, which I purposely did anyways. But Unfortunately, we are dropping Banana, our Trophius, and if I could make him Terra, I would do it, but I would feel like a Terra Trophius is not as good as a Terra Cresselia or on equal pars of it. Just because, look at the stats, it's just not that good. And even with Terra, it's okay, but it's not great. And it's just really sad to drop this bad boy. I really felt like there was potential. As we did to bring him 1 week, unfortunately that was the week Cresselia stole the show. But I did bring it. I did commit to at least bringing it once. And I said in my draft analysis I would bring either Smeargle or Trophies at least one time each. And that's what I did before I dropped them. And I literally made this decision not because I had dropped them because they were bad. I literally looked at my team and I was looking at future matches and I was just like, I need to make this team better. I really need to make this more efficient for this team and what I can offer. So those are the drops that we unfortunately made. Now let's talk about the positives. Let's talk about the things we added. This was a Pokemon that I originally was, I believe, going to draft in my team, but decided not to, and that is Klefki. Now, Klefki, ooh, I am a big fan of Klefki now. In the last couple of leagues I've been using Klefki. I don't think I've been using it insanely great, possibly, but I love Klefki for so much. In one of my recent times using it, I actually, in one game, used it perfectly. I used it perfectly. I set up screens, was under 50%, steel beam after I lived the hit, got into something, swept, and then just cleaned house with this mon. Clean house with the next mon after. Klefki, I feel like I've actually really come to enjoy because it's bulk, it's versatile, it has so many cool things. This thing can be weakness policy, store power, and just be super devastating. And I overall just love Klefki. Klefki to me is now a Pokemon that I respect because originally I hated this thing. I thought it was stupid, lame, worthless, but now I'm a Klefki believer and I love Klefki. And speaking of Pokemon that I feel like I either use well or I just can't use, we're talking about a Pokemon that, for one, replaced the grounded Poison type, but more importantly, gave us something that we did not have on this team originally, which was a Ghost Resist. If you look at my team even beforehand, I didn't have a Ghost Resist. I wasn't named Smeargle, which is not a real Ghost Resist. And I have a Chi-Yu, which Chi-Yu can kind of take Ghost hits, but it can't take most. And most of my team, unless I want to go Terra Normal, Terra Dark, or like Cresselia, can't take a Ghost type move. So I felt like this was really good. Plus, it gave me more speed, even though it's a bit of a clunch of speed tiers, technically speaking. But what I think is really great about this thing is the Unburden changes that whole thing. We have Poison Touch, which can be a really good ability as well. And big thing, Prankster. Prankster opens the door for so many things, with having Parting Shot, which I think is really good. Having Toxic to get chip damage off on something is really, really good. Encore to trap things, it's just really, really good utility for this Pokemon. And I think overall, just really, also a good fast taunt user as well. It's just, there's a lot of great things about Grafia that I think opens up the door for it. And don't sleep on this thing being offensive. This thing is an offensive monster. We got 6 kills with this thing in UNBLD League the second season, either in week 2 or week 3. We showed how good Terra Grafia was. I could have possibly made it a Terra Captain, but I ultimately just decided to keep it as a Poison type, just so I had that grounded Poison, but more importantly, as I had that Ghost immunity. And since I dropped one Sun Sweeper, let's pick up one other that I think arguably is better. Now, hear me out when I say this. I say better only because this can Terra. Now, be granted, Venusaur could have Terra, but Terra Venusaur was more expensive. Plus, I can't make that fit with Terra Cresselia, and I'm not giving up a Terra Cresselia. You cannot convince me otherwise to get rid of that thing. But Terra Leafeon, great attack, great bulk, and more importantly, is the fastest Chlorophyll Sweeper, not counting Lilligant and what about Shiftry? Is Shiftry fast? Shiftry's actually only base 80, and Lilligant is actually base 105. So yeah, it is the second fastest Chlorophyll Sweeper in the game, not counting Paradoxes and everything with their speed boost and stuff like that. This mon can be absolutely destructive. With Choice Band sets, this thing can be really good. Swords Dance sets is insanely good. Now, yes, the coverage on this Pokemon, very mid, very lackluster. But there is potential with this Pokemon. If for some reason my opponent has the worst normal matchups, Flame Orb, Terra Normal, SD, Facade, name something that switches in. Or even Last Resort. Well, actually, that would be really bad, actually. Never mind. Don't quote me on that then. Well, actually, Swords Dance Last Resort sets. I'm just saying. But you see the potential. You see what I'm going with it. It's very limited, very kind of one-dimensional for what it can do, or slight things it can do, but is a fantastic sweeper under Sun. I actually saw, I think it was like Rapture or Max Rapture, who actually won a league with Sun Leafeon team. And I think there's so much potential, especially with this being Terra. Now, this is a Pokemon that I can see myself bringing more over than Cresselia in some matchups because I love Sun better in that matchup versus having Cresselia with my Sun in this matchup. And where I can feel more confident bringing a normal Cresselia either as a support set or as a Cresselia that can still function of what I wanted to do but without the Terra. And lastly, I actually did ultimately decide to go with an electric type. I originally was going to go with Klefki, Leafeon, and Dragalge to give me a dragon type for an electric resistance, but I decided to pick up an electric resistance in Luxray. Now, Luxray, I will admit, he's not the best Pokemon, but Luxray does deter away potential hazards. Deters potential, what's the word I'm looking for? Status. It prevents Will-O-Wisp and Toxics. Because this is a Pokemon that does need to be respected. First off, a really good Intimidate Monster, a really good Intimidate Pivot Pokemon that can actually be decently defensive. But the big thing that a lot of people need to remember is Guts Luxray. Base 120 attack with Guts. This Mon, absolutely disgusting. This Pokemon got access to Trailblaze, so I clicked that wrong. It Trailblaze, so it has grass coverage for grounds, which is really great. Facade already nukes through everything, and everything that resists Facade, I can just go for an electric type move. And we've got Supercell Slam now, so even when a ground type wants to come in on me, it can, because again, depending on that ground type, Trailblaze and or Facade checks that Pokemon. This Mon, it becomes 10 times stronger than it originally was. And plus, I have won a championship with Luxray on my team. Did it come to a lot of games? Maybe only 2. But it was an undeniable MVP in the early half of the season for that team I used. So overall, love Luxray. I think these transactions make my team actually, even though it may kind of look weaker on paper in terms of what we dropped, which was mostly just 2 Pokemon, I think this team got a lot better. It has more momentum options with Volt Switch and Parting Shot / U-Turn. It has now more hazards in access of spikes, which spikes with my team actually is very, really good. And I have better setup wing cons. I have more breakers on this team now. I think this opens the door for my team a lot more, and I think helps the team a lot more. Doesn't make it a perfect 10 out of 10 team. I still don't think. I think it's still an 8 or a 9 out of 10 team. I still think it's worth that 7 slot that John put us on in his power rankings. But overall, I love the team a lot bit more. I think I am a little more comfortable with this thing. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will see you guys for week 6, where we take on Anker S. And that one's pretty much a must-win game. If we lose, then we have to win out. Well, then we take on SJ and Zombie. And both of those two are going to destroy me. So I really need this win to have at least one type of safety net of sorts. And hopefully you get lucky against one of those two. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.